Hey, this is Marty. Welcome back to Kicking with Computer Science. We're going to continue the Java Swing tutorial today. Last time I added a to-do. I was going to add a little bit of a splash screen with instructions for how the user was to begin, but I didn't quite get to it. So what we're going to do is use the Graphics2D object to implement a string, which just introduces the user to the game. And I wanted to just briefly explain that. Graphics 2D is a later implementation of this graphics object. But when it was implemented, in order to ensure backwards compatibility with Swing, the developers decided to extend the existing graphics object. And so to maintain the interface. So the existing paint component and graphics object is still passed in. If you want to use Graphics 2D, then you simply cast the graphics object to Graphics 2D. And just to make sure you're comfortable with that, we're going to run in the debugger quickly. So our breakpoint is hit, hopefully, and you can see that we're right here in the paint component, and the reference to the graphics object is actually a Sun Graphics 2D, and I looked this up. Sun Graphics 2D extends Graphics 2D, so we should be pretty safe to do the cast. So if we go back to our Java perspective, and so the first thing to do is to create a reference graphics 2D, and we'll just call it G2 equals G. And then we just need to add a cast. All right, so now we have a graphics 2. One important thing to do, and this is just kind of a little bit of magic, is you have to set some rendering hints on this. So I'll just paste this in. These rendering hints, I don't know that it's important if you understand what they do. Just know that you should put them in. I'm more familiar with the first one. But they just make the resulting image or text look better. So we'll go ahead and add those in. So now let's update all the references. Don't know if we need to do that really because the runtime object is a graphics 2D, but we went ahead and did it. So we have this to do, and what we want to do is draw a string. So we'll use g2.draw string, and the string is just going to be the name of the game, which we'll call Pong. In terms of the XY coordinates, we'll use the court width divided by 2, so we can kind of get it roughly in the center, and the court height divided by 2. So we're just making a stab at putting it somewhere in the middle. So we'll get rid of the to do and take a look. All right, so we have the word Pong here, but it's not real impressive. It's kind of puny. So we want to make it bigger, and in order to do that, we can set the font. So let's do that. We'll create a new font instance, and so you can pass in any font you want. We'll use monospaced font.bold, which is the style, and then the height, which we'll use as 50. Also, when we drew the string last time, it wasn't quite centered, so there are ways that you can use the API to figure out the center. We're not going to do that though. We're just going to kind of eyeball it. So let's take a look at this. All right, that seems more or less centered. So we have the name of the game. So what we want to do is just copy this, and we're just going to give an instruction on what the user should do to play. So we'll make a smaller font, and we'll say press start button to This one I think needs to be a little further to the left. So let's take a look at this. All right, so it's mostly what I wanted. I just forgot to move it a little further down the screen. Okay, so there's our splash screen, and then we can play or watch the ball bounce. So next time we'll add the paddles and show you a little bit about using the key listener to move the player 1 and player 2 paddles up and down the screen and try to hit the ball. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching Kicking with Computer Science.